We are Group 9 from Class D, and we're gonna present about the history of writing. First, let's watch a video.
Writing. It helps us perform all sorts of activities every day. It's easy to assume that writing's always been around, but like most things, it had to be invented. Have you ever written something down so you can remember it later on? Maybe you hear a good song on the radio and you decide to write it down on a piece of paper. Or perhaps you're going shopping and you decide to write a shopping list. Well, in a sort of similar way, this is why people started to write thousands of years ago.
Alright, as is mentioned in the video, writing, like most things, has to be invented. But how? Let's go to find out. First, there were many legends associated with the invention of writing. For example, according to Greek legend, Cadmus, prince of Phoenicians and the founder of the city of Thebes, invented the alphabet and brought it with him to Greece. In one Chinese fable, the four-eyed dragon god Kangxi invented. In other myths, the Babylonian god Nebos and the Egyptian god Thoth gave human writings as well as speech. And according to Islamic teaching, the alphabet was created by Allah himself, who presented it to humans, but not to the angel. Although these are delightful stories, it is evident that before a single word was written, uncountable billions were spoken. The invention of writings came relatively late in human history, and its development was gradual. One way of looking at writing system is diachronic or historical.
Firstly, pictograms and ideograms. You can see on the screen. This is a symbol of pictograms. Over 20,000 years ago, cave drawings called petroglyphs such as those found in the Altamira cave in northern Spain, drawn by ancient humans. They are literal portrayals of life at that time. Later drawings, however, are clearly picture writings or pictograms. Unlike modern writing systems, a picture or pictogram is a direct image of the object it represents. This early form of writing did not have any direct relation to the language spoken, and they did not represent the sounds of spoken language. Pictographic writing has been found throughout the world, Asian and modern, Africans, Native Americans, Canada, and many others. Then, when a pictogram was accepted as the representation of an object, its meaning was extended to attribute of that object, a concept associated with it. So, abstract pictograms are called ideograms, idea picture, or idea writings. For example, a pictogram the sun as you can see on the screen, when a picture of the sun could represent warmth, heat, light, daytimes, and so on. Pictograms thus began to represent ideas rather than objects. So you know the difference between pictograms and ideograms is not always clear. Then the ideograms became linguistic symbols as they came to also stand for the sounds that represented the ideas, that is for the words of the language. This step represented a revolutionary step in the development of writing systems.
According to many evidence, the oldest known writing system is cuneiform writing. It is invented by the Sumerian in ancient Mesopotamia 6,000 years ago. It is distinguished by its wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets, made by means of a blunt reed for a stylus. The term cuneiform comes from cuneus, Latin for wedged. The Sumerian left innumerable clay tablets containing business documents, epics, prayers, poems, proverbs, and so on. As cuneiform evolved, its user began to think of the symbol more in terms of the name of things represented than of the actual things itself. Eventually, cuneiform script came to represent words of the language. Such a system is called logographics or word writing. In this oldest type of writing system, the symbols stand for the word and the concept, which it may still resemble, however abstractly. Thus, logogram, the symbols of a word writing system, are ideograms that represent, in addition to the concept, the word or morpheme in language for that concept. The cuneiform writing system spread throughout the Middle East and Asia Minor. It was borrowed by the Babylonian, Assyrian, and Persian. In adopting cuneiform character, the borrowers often used them to represent the sounds of the syllable in their own languages. In this way, cuneiform evolved into a syllabic writing system. In a syllabic writing system, each syllable in the language is represented by its own symbols, and words are written syllable by syllable. The Persians greatly simplified the original cuneiform writing, and by the range of Darius I, from 522 to 468 before Christian era, this writing system was widely used.
The rebus principle. First of all, what is rebus principle? When a graphic symbol no longer has a visual relationship to the word it represents, it becomes a phonographic symbol, standing for the sounds that represent the word. A single sign can represent all words with the same sounds, the homophones of the language. For example, the symbol with a circle and a dot inside stood for the sun in English. It could then be used to represent the word sun, which has same sound to the original word. A rebus is a representation of words by picture of objects whose names sound like the word. Thus, the picture of an eye might represent I or the pronoun I in English. The sound of the two words are identical even though the meanings are not. Let's talk about the use of rebus principle, which is quite variable. The first use is in modern wordplay puzzle. Take a look at the picture. Here we have the symbol for a bee followed by a symbol representing the leaf. What is the solution for this puzzle? It's an English word, believe. Another example, we have three pictures representing three words. The symbol for an eye, followed by a symbol for the hat, and lastly a picture of a ship. The idea here is that each picture depicts a word, and by saying the word we end up with a sentence, I love you. The use is a ship. These are examples of using Rebus principle to use symbol to represent language. Proper names can also be written in such a way. If this symbol is used to represent rod, and this symbol represents man, then the combination of these two symbols could represent rod-man. Although nowadays the name is unrelated to either rods or mean, such combination often become styles or shortened so as to be more easily written. Let's take Rodman for example, might be written in such a system as the symbol on the screen. Let's say that we want to use emoji to represent the English name Herman. The first is a picture of a woman getting a haircut, and the second is a picture of a man. So, the first emoji could represent the word hair because of the haircut, and the second the word man. These two emoji can represent the name Herman. Let's take a look at another name, Lucas. This time, instead of using English word, we use words from ancient Samaria. So here we have the picture of a man and the picture of the mouth to writing the name Lucas. Rebus principle appears in literature too. Take this as an example. This rebus is inspired by Shakespeare's famous line from the play Hamlet. Not only in literature, advertising also makes use of the rebus principle. In American English, a well-known ice cream company advertised 30 wonderful flavors. The rebus principle here is quite interesting, but is this an efficient system? The answer is probably no. This system is not an efficient one because in many languages, words cannot be subdivided into sequences of sounds that have meaning by themselves. It would be difficult, for example, to represent the word English in English according to the rebus principle, because ing by itself does not mean anything, nor does lish.
Finally, from hieroglyph to the alphabet. At the same time as the Sumerian pictography, about 4000 BCE, a similar system was being used by the Egyptians, with the Greek letter called hieroglyphics. This system represented both the concept and the word for the concept. So hieroglyphics became a globographic writing system and a syllabic writing system. By 1500 BCE, the Phoenicians had developed a writing system of 22 characters, the West Semitic syllabary, and it was both a syllabary and consonantal alphabet. The ancient Greeks tried to borrow the Phoenician writing system, but it was unsatisfactory as a syllabary because Greek had too complex a syllable structure. When the Greeks borrowed the system, they used the leftover symbols to represent vowel sounds. The results were alphabetic writing, a system where both consonants and vowels are symbolized. A majority of alphabetic system is used today derives from the Greek system, and most nations of the world were exposed to and had the option of using alphabetic writing. At the end of our presentation, thank you for your attention.